So today we're going to be continuing to look at the alternative future of the world. We're now on part 14 and we're continuing to pick up on the alternative future of the world videos. Part 13 just released last Sunday and now we're on part 14. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are once again aiming for 100,000 subscribers soon. Not a specific time for it, maybe by the end of January, somewhere within that range, but we're trying to get there on the final stretch, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. So last time in the alternative future of the world series, we had a lot of events happening over here with the red team, which I have actually updated the alliance map. So now we can see the alliances of every country in the world, and as you can see here, there are not a lot of neutral countries remaining, which means there might be a big war breaking out in this video or the next. I don't know. But the red team has expanded a lot. They've expanded down to Central Asia. They've also gone down into Africa and dug their roots deep. Over in South America, we had Brazil joining in on the red team. And as for the blue team, they've been kind of staggering lately. The United States broke out into a civil war last video, which relinquished land back to Canada and Mexico. We have the European Union expanding, and overall, just the WDO hasn't been doing much to prepare for a possible conflict with the Axis. But in this video, we're going to be going up and seeing even more tension build up, even more wars break out, and it's going to pretty much almost break into another global conflict, which will definitely be different from any other conflicts that we've seen. Now, the first thing to happen in this timeline, picking up from the last video, is that the Shield Alliance Pact, which was actually just Saudi Arabia, turns out, they're going to join in on the WDO, and this is going to be a huge boost for them because Saudi Arabia, they were just kind of chilling before. Actually, I shouldn't say Saudi Arabia, just Arabia. They were chilling before in their own alliance with their own selves, but now they're going to go ahead and join the WDO because, I mean, they're kind of surrounded. They have Kurdistan and Iran to the north, Egypt to the west, and then, of course, to the south, they have Ethiopia. So overall, a good move here by Arabia. Next up, we're going to go ahead and hop over to South America, where Brazil is once again going to do some expansion. I seriously still don't know how to group these three countries here, so Guyana, French Guiana, and Suriname. I don't know what the three are called together because, like, if you look at Benelux, so that's Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg, they have their own region name, but I don't know what these guys are called. So maybe you guys should tell me in the comments. Anyway, Brazilian troops enter in from the south, and, well, Brazil is really strong, and these guys are not so strong. They're not in an alliance. They don't have any protection, and they're just vastly outnumbered by the Brazilians, so they're going to fall pretty quickly here. So looking at this now, South America has come down to the wire. There's only around 6 countries left in this continent, actually, and overall, Brazil has the upper hand against all of them. Of course, Chile and Colombia, they are in the WDO, so they're safe from any invasion by Brazil, but Peru, Argentina, and Uruguay, they might be in trouble. Now we have a major world event taking place, and that is the collapse of an alliance. Now don't freak out, it's not a major alliance, it's the neutral alliance. You see, every country that was in the neutral alliance joined the neutral alliance in order to be neutral, and in theory that works, but it's not a militaristic pact. So if one of your neutral allies get invaded, you're just going to condemn the invaders and do nothing because you're neutral. So the neutral alliance is pointless. It's just a bunch of countries banding together and praising peace. So it doesn't work when there's a constant aggressor in the world, that being the Axis. So the purple team is disbanded, and now the world is looking at a very split map. This event heightens tensions a lot because now there are no neutral grounds. You cannot be neutral. You have to pick a side, WDO or Axis. Who are you going to choose? Who's more dominant? Who's going to rule the world in the next video? The answer to that question is probably neither, but there's some build up there. So almost immediately, the Axis is going to take action on this event, and they're going to try to start to invade some of these neutral countries. The only problem is they only border one, and that is Turkey. And poor Turkey got invaded in the last video, and it's no different here. They're once again going after Turkey because now they have no alignment. Their alliance, which Turkey was probably one of the most powerful countries in the neutral alliance, that's gone. So like even if you wanted to turn it into a militaristic pact, that option is gone because the alliance is, well, gone. Turkey left the WDO a few videos back, and honestly, they've probably been regretting it ever since, seeing the Axis's rapid expansion. Now the Turks, they're not stupid, but they're also like not prepared for this. For some reason, the Axis is freakishly strong, and nobody knows why exactly. Maybe that will be revealed at the end of the series, which is, well, let's see, we're in episode 14. The end of the series probably going to be episode 20. Don't fret though, there might be a season 2, so don't, I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but season 2 of Alternative Future of the World could, I don't know, you'll just have to see. Anyway, the Russians are going ham in Turkey. They're getting a lot of land, and the Turkish resistance is not enough to stop them. The Turks do, however, manage to push back in the south near Kurdistan because it's Kurdistan. Turkey has a reputation for being able to hold them back. But the Russians, on the other hand, they're freakishly strong. No one can stop them, and it's bringing up a lot of questions throughout the world, like, how is Russia doing this? They lost all of their important land in the last war with the WDO. And it's just like, it's weird. Someone's supplying them, but nobody knows who. Probably the aliens that built the pyramids. But anyway, with Turkey losing a lot of land and also losing their capital now, the army is going to be completely demoralized as they are pushed back out of Syria. The Axis reaches the Mediterranean Sea, and after a few more excruciating weeks or maybe even months of fighting, we finally see Turkey surrender over to the Axis. Let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty. Looking at this peace deal here, we can see that Turkey was actually kind of saved. Of course, they're only being reduced down over here toward the European-ish parts, but there still exists. They still have, oh, they might not have Ankara, I don't know, but they still have Istanbul, which is probably their most important piece. Other than that, though, the rest of Turkey has been decimated. It's been taken out, so Syria has joined Kurdistan just to form, I guess, Syria at this point. We have the remainder of Turkey becoming a puppet of the Axis. Russia took land, Iran took land, and looking at the alliance map now, yeah, that's going to hurt for the WDO's influence. And now Arabia and Israelistine are completely surrounded, like quite literally all around them except for the ocean over here. So that just kind of reaffirms their decision to be in the WDO because it offers protection, of course, but at this point, if a war broke out, they'd probably get rolled over within a couple of months. As for the remainder of Turkey, they're going to make a pretty smart decision here and rejoin the WDO. Greece is hesitant to let them in, but, you know, it's kind of like join or die, so they're going to join. We even have some more countries joining in on the WDO. This time it's going to be Serbia, Montenegro, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Now do remember that Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina have new governments that are WDO installed, so it's not like they're against the WDO. Before they were just neutral. Now, of course, with the big threat, they're going to go ahead and join the WDO. Same thing with Kaliningrad. I mean, they just got their independence recently, and they were already kind of pro-WDO. That's one of the reasons they broke away from Russia. But also just because, like, why not make it whole? There's only 2 countries in Europe that haven't joined the WDO, and that's Ireland and Switzerland. They're pretty far away. They have nothing to really worry about. There's Cyprus. I don't remember what I did with Cyprus. We're going to assume that they're independent, so they're just going to chill for now. Anyway, the amount of white on this map is slowly fading away, and there's a lot of red and a lot of blue. But which side would win if an actual war broke out? Now, of course, when you think about it in modern day times, in like all of the current countries' power rankings, the blue team would obviously win here. I mean, it's China and the US alone, all of Europe, and then, you know, just half of Russia, Africa, Brazil, and some of the Middle East. Like, obviously the blue team would win. But in this timeline, for some reason, the red team is extremely strong. No one knows why, but they're able to do these things and get away with them, and they're able to avoid all the consequences of rapidly expanding into other countries and even continents like Africa. Whereas the blue team, they're more traditional. If they try to do that, they're going to collapse, and, well, not collapse completely, but like it's not going to work as the red team's doing it. So the blue team is in a very bad situation. They just don't know how to stop the red team. They've just been rolling and rolling, and it hasn't been stopping. But now the red team is going to pull another act, and this one's really going to hurt the blue team. Argentina joins in on the Axis. Once again, more countries are starting to show their true sides. This time Argentina joins the red team because they believe that the red team will be triumphant in a war against the WDO. Also, them and Brazil is enough to take over South America. If they join the blue team, they'd have to fight Brazil forever, wait for America to help out. And overall, Argentina just sees more success happening on the red team. And this is going to influence a lot of countries, specifically Uruguay. They're going to join the red team. Now, Uruguay is a neutral country, but if you kind of look at World War II, there are some countries that joined the Axis just because it was more convenient for them, or because they're just avoiding getting invaded, like Thailand. They weren't a true Axis member. Japan just kind of forced them in so they don't like get invaded by Japan. It's the same kind of thing with Uruguay here, except they did it on their own conscious effort. Now Peru is going to do something really interesting here, and by that I mean they're going to get invaded by everyone. So Brazil kind of started this. They were about to invade Peru, but at the same time the WDO knew about this, and they're like, hey, no. So Peru really doesn't have an option here. It's either die or die, and they're going to choose die. So the Colombians are going in, the Chileans are going. This mouse, I swear to God. Okay, so like half of daily upload week I've been doing with this mouse, and it's just horrible. My old mouse, or I guess my mouse that I usually use, the cord is broken. I had to wait to get a new cord. This one is my old one, doesn't work. Yeah. But yeah, the Colombians and Chileans, they're going in, and they're going to try to stop Brazil from getting over to the coast here. The Brazilians automatically try to push forward, and things are getting a little bit heated between the Brazilians, Chileans, and Colombians. Now, the Colombians and Chileans are able to meet up just before the Brazilians get there, but that doesn't stop the Brazilians, and they go ahead and push through to the ocean. Oh no. The WDO has been attacked by the Axis, undeliberately or deliberately, we don't know. Brazil killed a bunch of Chilean and Colombian troops, and by default, that activates the WDO, which in turn activates the Axis. And the world is not ready for this. Now, of course, almost immediately, we have the blue team just like, I mean, the Colombians and Chileans, they're going to go ham on Brazil here. They're going to absolutely decimate their armies who were just, you know, they're supposed to take Peru. They're not supposed to fight a whole-on war. Whereas Colombia and Chile, they were a little bit more prepared for this just in case it were to happen. But yeah, the Brazilians are kicked out of Peru, and now the Colombians are going to go ahead and start invading into Brazil. Now, the leaders of the WDO, they're like, wait, hold on. So the leaders, they're like the United States, the European Union, probably China, Japan, Korea, and any other veteran country that's been around forever, the UK. They're like, hold on, don't do that. Wait, stop. We can do this diplomatically. And Brazil's like, no, it's too late for that. But then we have Russia, who's like, okay, maybe we can do this diplomatically, even though we're going to go ahead and just kind of send some troops over to here. Let me try to retake this over here. But yeah, after like 2 weeks of fighting, the world is just put on pause. Obviously, the red team is dominating right now, but the blue team doesn't want to fight, and on the inside, the red team also doesn't want to fight because they're just simply not ready for this. So we have the two sides meeting up in Switzerland, of all places. And it is here that they discuss a ceasefire which will stop all fighting between all countries and retract all troops who are invading any other country. This meeting also will decide the fate of Peru. So just like that, the world has avoided World War V, which lasted for 2 weeks, and everyone's really happy about this. Of course, the alliance map is still like tense as hell, but still, no one has mass died. If that mass died, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, for Peru, let's go ahead and see how they were divided up. So looking at this peace treaty here, Brazil is actually going to go ahead and get the upper hand here since they were kind of attacked, but they also were the ones that killed the Colombians. So it's weird, but still Colombia and Chile get land from this, but Brazil does get access to the Pacific Ocean, which will help them out if they ever need to do some invading of Australia, which I highly doubt they'll ever do. Looking at the alliance map here, obviously South America has been occupied. There are 3 countries on the red team and 2 countries on the blue team. The red team has the advantage here. Brazil is stronger than Colombia, and Argentina is stronger than Chile, which basically just, you know, easy math there. But with the division of Peru happening, countries are now being forced to pick a side. There is mass hysteria across the world thinking that if you don't choose a side, you're going to get divided up just like Peru did. Lots of propaganda. Don't end up like Peru was the United States' thing. Join or die is the Russians' thing, which that's ironic. But now, every country on the white team is going to pick a side. First and foremost, Madagascar and Namibia are going to join the red team. Now, despite this country being invaded by South Africa, they see it better just to join on their side, not be on the blue team, because obviously if you do that, you're going to get invaded right away, and it's not going to end out too well for you. Obviously, the Congo is going to join the blue team. In the last video, they got decimated by the red team. They're not going to let that happen again, so they're going to join the side which they believe is right. The West African Union used to be a part of the WDO until they left to join the Neutral Alliance, and now the Neutral Alliance is neutralized, so they're going to join back into the WDO. Same thing with Tunisia. They left to join the Neutral Alliance. That's gone, so now they're joining the WDO. Cyprus sees more luck joining the red team. And as for Ireland, blue team. Over into the Americas, we have Mexico joining in on the blue team. And now over to Asia, where it's going to be a little interesting. Tibet will join on the blue team, and this is a major country right here. They're joining the blue team. Of course, India would. I mean, they have that tension with the new Russia now, with the Axis Russia. And as we saw earlier on in the series, the tension or the relations between India and Russia were fading and eventually snapped when they went to war with each other. And now India and China are good friends. Weird stuff happening in this timeline. Bhutan and Bangladesh joined the blue team. Southeast Asia was partnered with the WDO before they went to the Neutral Alliance. That partnership still stands. They joined the WDO. Malaysia joins the WDO. And Indonesia makes the interesting decision to go over to the red team. Now this decision here is really weird because, like, why would you do that? You're not even near any other allies. But Indonesia's ideals and their leader just say that they align better with the red team, the blue team is evil, and that they basically need to be obliterated. On top of this, we have Papua New Guinea doing something that is pretty wild, and that is uniting with Indonesia. I don't know what drove them to do this. I don't know what their motivation behind this is, but yep, they're Indonesian now. And as far as these islands go, they don't exist anymore. Sea levels are way up. There's no way these guys are even here. Yeah, I'm sorry for all the Pacific Islanders or the... yeah, you're gone. Goodbye. So now we have 2 countries who are not on a team. Switzerland, who of course is... they're not going to join a team. They're Switzerland. Come on now. But Central America hasn't joined a team yet, and that's for a very specific reason. Somebody wants freedom. Guatemala and Nicaragua, they break away from the Central American Union and are now going to try to achieve independence in order to join the red team. Immediately, the WDO is going to fund the remainder of the Central Americans, but unfortunately enough, this is a matter that the WDO cannot fix. All of these countries here are different in their own manner, and them in a union together, although is very plausible, would probably not end up working in the long run. Now we have Honduras breaking away in order to keep themselves safe from, well, the red team expansionists. They immediately start to try to invade Nicaragua, who's already trying to invade Costa Rica. I don't know what is happening with the map right now. Guatemala is going after Belize, and El Salvador after Honduras. What in the world is happening here? Central Americans doing Central American things, and no one knows how to really fix this issue, so they're gonna like meet in Jamaica. Hear me out. The WDO leaders and the Axis leaders meet in Jamaica, which is a part of the US, by the way, and they're going to discuss basically like, what are we going to do about this? It's a weird meeting spot, and it could get them into some trouble. They eventually come up with a compromise which will settle this issue for once and for all. But before they discuss that, there are some unifications taking place elsewhere in the world. Such unifications include Italy joining in on the EU, as well as Croatia. Over in Africa, we have Namibia and Angola uniting together. The Axis installed a new government in Namibia when they joined the alliance, and that was, well, Namibia kind of shooting themselves in the foot here. This is basically just Angola annexing Namibia just because they can. Over here in the Indian subcontinent, Bhutan joins in with Tibet, and we have Malaysia joining in with Siam. Brunei soon joins in on that union. Over in the Middle East, we have the unification of Syria and the Axis Turkey. In Europe, we have Kosovo, Albania uniting with North Macedonia. Finally, in Africa, we have the Axis Kenya uniting with Ethiopia. Odd turn of events, but it does clean up the world map. But now back over to the peace conference here. The two sides discuss how they want to split up Central America. Of course, the WDO does have the upper hand for obvious reasons, but the decision goes like this. The WDO will get Belize and Guatemala, as well as Panama and Costa Rica, whereas the rest of the countries, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, will be given the choice to choose which side they want. Prior to this, though, there was a ship full of goods coming in from Russia, or I guess one of the African countries, that landed in Honduras and El Salvador and Nicaragua, and those shipments might have been actual people who are gonna do some espionage-y kind of corruption-y kind of thingies, but we're going to ignore that. Let's go ahead and see what the countries decide to do. All right, looking at this peace treaty here that they drew up, Guatemala and Belize get independence but decide to unite together, and they join in on the WDO. As for Costa Rica and Panama, they get their independence and also join the WDO. But for Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Honduras, they unite together and join the Axis. Now, this might have done with the special shipment coming in from Africa or Russia, but honestly, the WDO doesn't really care, because if a war were to break out, these guys they're screwed, or so it seems. But now every country in the world is on a side, and a global conflict is just seconds away from taking place. Why do I say that? Well, the leader of a certain country, which just so happens to be Russia, they're walking out of the building in Jamaica, and they're strolling to their vehicle, of course under high security, but apparently it's not high enough security, as a bullet meets his head, and he is assassinated by what appears to be a hired assassin. Of course, the other Axis leaders scramble to take cover. Unfortunately for them, though, another one of their leaders are hit, and that leader is the leader of Iran. The WDO leaders are nowhere in the area, and it's revealed later that they never left the building, and now a global conflict is going to break out. The World Defensive Organization and the Axis are now at war. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new, aiming for 100k by the end of January. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.